Hello and welcome to Libra season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and multidimensional human who, like you, is on a journey through this crazy thing we call life here on planet Earth. These days, as I'm sure you've noticed, life on Earth is complex, chaotic, confusing, terrifying, and deeply heartbreaking, yet also still full of beauty and saturated by the mysterious substances of sentient potentiality. In many ways, these times are to be expected, given the histories and cycles that they're emerging within. In the ongoing evolution of human consciousness, navigating times of crisis has always been our necessity. Throughout history, we humans have had to reckon with creative and destructive potentials, and the ways in which we can make meaning and grow through experiences of tragedy and pain. Over the ages, one of our most important evolutionary guides and allies in meaning making has been astrology. Astrology is expansive, and the type that I practice, which is called tropical astrology, is just one of its many forms. Different forms of astrology exist and have existed on every part of the globe, and new forms and variations are still being created. At its most fundamental level, astrology is an orientation of attunement with the cycles and seasons of the cosmos, and a practice of listening and communing with the most important planet of all, which is the one we're part of, Earth. If you, like me, are interested in how you can live into the fullest potential of your lifetime, in service to the life and lives yours is interwoven with here on Earth, I want to invite you to join me next month for an in-person on-land retreat, where we'll explore how embodying astrology can help us attune with our intuition, open our imaginations, and show up for our journeys with inspiration, presence, and purpose. October 24th through 27th at the Eco-Dharma Center in the Rocky Mountains, I'll be joined by my colleagues Ramon and Michelle Gabrieloff-Parrish for a deep dive into experiential astrology. During this 4-day residential retreat, we'll engage with charts, signs, and symbolism. We'll spend time outside, connecting with our physical presence, somatic intelligence, and psychic process, in communion with the land and sky. We'll experiment with the potential of astrology to elaborate systems thinking, expand mind-body coherence, and assist us in cultivating perspectives on how our individual inheritances and personal potentials can help us all meet the historic moment we're in as change agents, healers, and visionaries. If this sounds like the place you want to be, I hope you'll join us. Learn more about the Body of Stars retreat by clicking the link in the show notes or visiting embodiedastrology.com, where you can find more information from the drop-down menu in the study section. Last but not least, before we get to your sign-specific horoscopes, I do want to remind you that these readings are somewhat personal explorations of larger collective symbols. Take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's meaningful for you. For a broader focus on the astrology of current events and a collective reading, make sure to listen to my Libra season overview, available on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcasts. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Libra season. I'm going to tune in with your horoscope through some Libra portals, through some keywords and concepts belonging to Libra. These are the keywords of beauty, love, and balance. And I'm going to invite awareness of these keywords into your head, your heart, and your body. My intention is this horoscope can serve you in multidimensional ways. So please remember to take what works and leave the rest and make the meaning that is meaningful for you. All right, well, Libra season is the season that comes before yours. So first and foremost, I want to say that this is the end of a solar cycle. Whether you are Scorpio sun, Scorpio rising, or Scorpio moon, there is a kind of energetic closure in this current season. And this closure is asking you to rest, to let go of what is superfluous and unnecessary, to check in with your own energy and where you happen to find yourself in your state of evolution and process and growth. This is a great time to reflect on the last year and what has happened in these past 11 seasons, and also feel forward into the upcoming orbital cycle and what you are calling in for the next year or so of your life. Moving into Libra season, we are very much in the thick of eclipses. There was a lunar eclipse on September 17th in your fellow water sign Pisces, and there will be a solar eclipse on October 2nd in Libra. Now, the span of time between eclipses, or what some people call the eclipse window, is a period of time when I think a lot of shape-shifting, time melding kinds of things happen. So it's common that people are awash with memories and sensations or experiences that kind of bring up issues from the past that are ready to be perceived in new ways, and also call in premonitions from the future to help us reorient and recalibrate our energy in different ways that we might want to be growing and changing. Now, these eclipses in your chart are really asking for kind of new ways of engaging your own energy and activity. I feel like a lot of you are wanting to take a different kind of responsibility around how you use your most precious and vital resources, which include your time and your attention and your actual presence. So what you work for and what you attend energetically, that's enormous in your life. And I think that there is a kind of consciousness that's happening for you right now that you want to be applying your energy in some new and different ways. And it's kind of like you're taking your energy back, or you're taking your time back, and you're aware of your capacity to create. And there's some kind of process happening for you where you're recognizing that the previous journey of creation that you're closing right now, and that could be this last year, or it could be a longer period of time, all kinds of cycles in astrology that we might tune into. But considering the eclipse cycles, I might just encourage you to think back to like 2006 or so, if we're thinking about the North Node in its transit, and what was happening then that you were putting your time and attention and labor towards creating, and how at this point you have been shaped by what you have created, right? You've created your life, and you're ready for some new chapter of creation. So what are you creating right now? Your creative energy is your generative energy. It is your erotic, life-giving energy. It is also your time, your attention, your labor, and your resources. What you put your attention towards grows. These eclipses are asking you to take responsibility for your attention, for your time, for your resources, and be intentional about what you are trying to cultivate and what you are trying to grow. Now, the first couple of days of Libra season, to me, feel like a little bit of a swirl. There's a whole lot of things that seem to be trying to settle. And your consciousness needs to find peace inside of this. There's so much that's happening. I think that a lot of what is going on is kind of like beyond your control. There are situations that you just need to deal with. There are other people being other people as they will, doing things that you probably wouldn't do if you were them. But it's like you have to tune out all of that noise. And you have to really consolidate your energy right now and organize yourself in the ways that will allow you to find your moment of Zen, your inner peace, as much as possible. To me, as we move towards this solar eclipse and new moon in Libra, it feels really essential that you are giving yourself as much quiet as you can. The more that you can tune out distractions from the external world, from other people being other people, from the world being the crazy shit show that it is, the more that you can kind of tune in with your own sense of relationship to the ever-present
kind of spirit or energy that is around all the time. That could be the force of life, or deity or god, goddess, sense of creation energy, however you might name it. It feels like that is where you get resourced. Tune out distractions to the best of your ability. Get as quiet as you possibly can, especially as we're headed towards October 2nd's new moon. The 3 or 4 days leading up to that and that day itself, you will really benefit from simplifying, from tuning out noise, and from connecting in ways that are meaningful and resonant for you with what I'm going to call your sense of spirituality, or the space of communion where you can get in contact with spirit. This is a new moon to call in support from the unseen realms. This is a new moon to really take some time to do some kind of practice of veneration. Simple gratitude practices can have really remarkable impacts upon our body minds. They can help calm and regulate our systems. They can also help us open up to see opportunities we may not see if we are in more of a scarcity or survival mindset. I'm also getting that this is a powerful time for ancestral veneration for you, and it may be that there are ancestors of your own bloodline, or your creative or spiritual lineages, important people in your life who have been inspirations, motivations, or possibility models for you that have some kind of support to give, even if you're just tuning in with them, kind of remembering their presence, tapping into their wisdom, or things like that. For those of you who are more sensitive to the spirit realms and feel that communication can happen there, this could also be a powerful time for actually speaking to those spirits or their resonances or vibrations, seeing if they have any support or advice or guidance that they want to give you at this time, particularly when it comes to this feeling of recreation in your life and a kind of regeneration of your energy. You are in such a powerful moment of transformation where you are really letting go of a particular kind of chapter of growth, so that you can establish a new foundation for yourself and create from there. Once we get into October, we're entering an important cycle for you, for everybody, but especially for you, Scorpio, as a Mars-ruled sign. The planet Mars is currently transiting through Cancer, your fellow water sign, and on October 4th, Mars begins its pre-retrograde shadow. This is when a planet is traveling direct over an area of the sky that it will retrograde back to in the future. Just feel like I need to throw this out for someone out there and say retrogrades are a visual, apparent phenomena. It has to do with relative speeds of planets around the sun. Astrology works with the language of symbolism. Since Mars is a visible planet, this retrograde is an important one. Mars holds the symbol of energy, action, assertion, desire, will force, sexuality, chi, also how we engage with conflict and how we wield our warrior energy. It's also an important planet for you because, as I mentioned, Scorpio is a Mars-ruled sign. We also have some important developments happening in Aries, which is the other place Mars finds its home. And so when Mars goes retrograde, it is going to affect your energy. Now, this particular retrograde is asking you to reassess how you're putting yourself out into the world. It is wanting you to clarify your guiding principles and philosophies so that your actions and the impact that you make in the world is in alignment with the belief systems that you want to uphold. I think that the month of October and November, as we move towards Mars retrograde station, there is a lot of forward activity for you. A lot of you are kind of breaking new ground and moving in some important new directions in your life. I think that these themes of guiding principles and personal philosophies are feeling really strong for you right now. There's a clarification of your guiding principles and philosophies, and you feel motivated and empowered to take that with you into your life in some new and different ways. However, once Mars stations retrograde in December, there's going to be a necessary period of review. And I think that a lot of you have projects already in place, like already going, or you might think kind of in a larger sense about your career or your vocation. And because these are already happening, there's already a momentum to them, you might over the next couple of months just be doing the things that you need to do or that have already been set up for you. But then as we get into the end of the year, there might be a kind of natural waning of activity where you want to reassess and recalibrate how you're putting yourself out, what you're engaging with. And there's some really important kind of feeling here about what you're giving your labor to, what you're giving your actual life force and vitality to. On a very broad and kind of general scale, I would say that who you are in the world, how you're showing up, means a lot. And especially for Scorpio, you all have a lot of intentionality around what you show to others and what is available for them to perceive about you. And I think that something is happening for you right now where what's shifting for you philosophically and in terms of your guiding principles, it's conscious but not yet fully developed. Or there's some kind of like momentum shift that you're working with that is creating like like the feeling I get is you can be different in the world. And that might create its own kind of confusion because of balance, right? So here we have this Libra keyword, and I'm going to really bring it into these places in the body, the head, the heart, and the actual embodiment or somatic experience. When we're accustomed to something, when we've normalized inside of it, that has its own state of balance. As we shift, it can feel wildly imbalanced. And one of the places where Libra energy can be problematic for all of us, because we all have Libra in our charts, is when we fear imbalance. So if I've always been this kind of way, but now I don't want to be that kind of way anymore, if I stop, then what? Right? Like there's this feeling of, well, then what happens? If I don't do it like that, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And the feeling that I have for you is that you need to not know how you're going to do it a little bit. And as we move into the Mars shadow, getting into October and November, if you're experiencing reluctance or doubt or insecurity, or even like an imposter syndrome or sense of, like, is this the way I want to do it? Or can I do it this way? Or, these questions of like, where do you fit kind of, or how do you want to be? I really want to encourage you to be playful in that space and allow yourself to feel that way, because this readjustment needs you to get knocked off balance a little bit so that you can reorient into a new shape. A lot of new energy is coming in collectively. So I'm sure you've noticed, right? Like certain ways of being are just not in vogue anymore. And society is changing, culture is shifting. There's a lot of chaos politically, environmentally, and socially. And we have an opportunity as individuals who are part of society to take part in reshaping our social landscapes. None of us can do this alone. We need everybody on board. And everybody is different. And so people are going to be mobilizing in wildly different ways. And I feel like I want to tell you, Scorpio, that there is some kind of larger collective shift that you really want to be a part of right now, that you can be by personalizing it and by bringing it very tangibly into your day-to-day existence. What do you want to see in the world? If you want peace in the world and you want an end to war, how in your life do you invest in peace and not war? That can happen on so many different levels. Everything from how you use your money, where you invest or divest, to how you are in relationship, how you're cultivating your skills for listening and receptivity and being with conflict, to what kinds of, attitudes and behaviors you are cultivating in yourself and internally how you're speaking to yourself, right? There are a lot of ways that you might engage an anti-war ethos that are very clearly about your own personal choices. And will that change how the US is spending tax dollars and investing in the military? No. Not by itself, but in a kind of larger social whole, your capacity to change will have a ripple out effect through your relationships. And we influence one another in the ways that we share breath, in the ways that we share water. It pervades. People see examples of something and it awakens them to the possibility that they can experience that as well. So I have this feeling right now that you are really needing to concentrate on your own becoming, on like your body as your body, mind, your being as a site of radical change and transformation. That it is instructive for you right now to engage the kind of mental play of considering where the boundary lines between collective and individual are. Where are you an individual and how are you part of a collective? They aren't binary opposites. They actually totally overlap. And inside of that place, to feel into your creative capacities. What do you want to create in this life dream experience? And allow for those desires and those longings to speak to you. And again, this is a place where your contact with the more than human realms, with the ancestral realms, with the spiritual realms, etc., with your highest self or your intuition can be incredibly clarifying and supportive, and can help you really tune into the ways that you might be embodying patterns that are bigger than you.
Hey there. I'll be back in just a minute with the rest of your Libra season horoscope, but I wanted to let you know that if you're enjoying this reading and it's resonating for you, the best way to integrate and bring astrology's best potentials into your life is to put them into practice. At Embodied Astrology, that's exactly the kind of thing we do. Every month and throughout the seasons, we offer opportunities to engage the creative, experimental, and experiential aspects of current astrology. This season, I hope you'll join me for Somatic Space, which is a class I offer every Monday, where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle, healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. Over the weekend of October 12th and 13th, we also have 2 wonderful workshops with our faculty members, Gabs and Junata. On Saturday, October 12th, Gabs 404 will be joined by a special guest, the astrologer and time researcher Christopher Burrick, in the Nebula Lab, where they'll deep dive into time as a substance and explore the many ways that time has been measured, expanded, stretched, and played with, and how we can work with time across time through the cyclical symbolism of the outer planets. The next day, Sunday, October 13th, Junata Petrus returns for the Aries full moon edition of her monthly Artistic Alchemy series. In these sessions, Junata brings us into the textural, sensual encounters with the solar-lunar axis and full moon vibes by sharing playlists, artist practices, and personal prompts that help us uncover and expand our personal creative practices and life as artistry. These events are all offered on Zoom and available by recording if you can't attend live. Our offerings also change with each season and are always curated to meet the moment. To find out more, check the upcoming events in our show notes or click Study from the drop-down menu at embodiedastrology.com.
All right, so moving towards the full moon on October 17th, we are moving towards another Mars-ruled full moon. And Mercury is going to be coming into your sign a couple of days before on October 13th. October 13th through 17th really kind of turns up the volume on a particular kind of volatility and intensity that is very much a hallmark of this time. There's a lot of noise in the atmosphere. There is literally so much more noise now than I think has ever been on planet Earth, whether we're thinking about the sounds of traffic or digital devices or drones in the air or the amount of people who are all talking or, technology or something. And it feels important, again, that you are really consolidating your mental energy and attention, that you are creating space for yourself to access quiet and internal listening as frequently as you can and for as long as you can when it comes to duration. This is a period of time that has a lot of energy to give you to climb. It's like you're climbing a mountain. You are on a trajectory. I feel that a lot of you are on a particular path, like you have a goal in mind and you do not want to get distracted by the immense amount of noise. This does not mean you have to bypass or be avoidant of what's happening. In fact, the more that you can stay aware and stay attuned of the larger environment, the more that can help assist you in clarifying what your personal projects are. But the feeling here is that you want to have a kind of capacity for discernment and notice when your attention and your energy get pulled way out. If you start to get fixated on what other people are doing or, what's happening out there, and it's like, can you come back to in here? Can you come back to what you can do about what you're experiencing in your life right now in ways that are aligned with the larger changes that you want to feel and see in the world? That's what I feel like this lead up to the full moon is inviting of you. I also want to say that this is an important period of time for you to be conscious and aware of how what you do affects your health and body. And if there are habits, addictions, or patterns that are not serving you right now, that this is definitely a time that you also want to practice discipline and kind of like making space with what takes your energy into directions that doesn't serve. As you make this space, I think that the full moon is bringing a particular kind of energy for you that has to do with the ability to attract and manifest more of what it is that you want. And this clarity, quieting, kind of pushing everything that's superfluous or excessive to the side so that you can really focus and attune and hone in on your growth path, how you're shifting and changing, and what it is that you are trying to manifest now in ways that are connecting you with the larger whole, that are in service to more than just you, and that are in connection, conversation, and communion with this sense of greater whole. Then the more support we have flowing back into you, And I feel like getting into your season, into Scorpio season, you're going to start to feel the residual outcomes of that in tangible opportunities for growth and for new resources and support coming in for you. All right, Scorpio, I hope any or all of that is helpful and interesting. I am wishing you all the best in Libra season and beyond. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, please show your support. The easiest way to do that is to click the like, follow, and subscribe buttons below. Leave us great reviews on the streaming platforms you're tuning in with, and share our channels and offerings with your friends and networks. Your one-time and recurring donations sustain the production of this work. Click the link in the show notes to sign up for a monthly donation or leave us a tip. Thank you for your support.